morning, everyone. Welcome to From Market to Table. I'm Kathy Willis, Scratch Baker, and with me today I have Sam McGarvey. He's our seafood manager. And as a guest today, you may remember Chef Mark Arnold.
Good to be here.
Good. Nice to have you here. Well, listen, I thought maybe why don't we go ahead and start with the dips, so we'll have something to snack on while we're cooking.
There we go. Yeah, this is pretty easy. It takes real simple, something easy. If you're having a little party, you got some friends over, watching some football games. You want to whip something up real quick. Here we go. We got something real easy. We're going to start with a Parmesan ranch shrimp dip. We got just your normal tailless cooked shrimp. We're going to dice it up real fine. We got that done. Just put this into the bowl here. We got 1 pound of cream cheese. And this is all stuff you find here. It's real simple. You can dice your shrimp up. It takes any second. You can use any size shrimp you want, as long as it's cooked shrimp, because you didn't dice it up, so it doesn't really matter.
Right.
This is one of my favorite dips. I love this dip. It's so good. It's so good.
Where's all your crackers?
We forgot the crackers.
All right.
All right. After that we got about a half cup Parmesan cheese, just grated Parmesan. You can get it off the shelf, or if you want, you can get a fresh piece of Parmesan cheese. You can grade that just how you want it.
Yeah.
And it's good to go. Just 1 packet of ranch seasoning, just a normal size, like a soup packet, whatever it would be, about 1 ounce. If you don't like so much ranch, use a smaller one. If you like more, go ahead, use a bigger one.
I like recipes that are flexible.
Yeah, right. Good to go. Put that in there. And then just some little parsley. It gives it some color. Not really a big deal, but just 1 tablespoon of that. Put that in there. Now, normally I wouldn't use gloves if I was at home, but I don't have no way to wash my hands right here to put it in the bowl to use another one. So we're going to go ahead and slip some gloves on here. We'll get this all mixed up. It's pretty good. Now, once again, once your cream cheese, you want your cream cheese softened, or else it's going to be a real bugger to mix in there. But everything mixes together real well. You want it mixed in. You want your shrimp all over the place. Everything. You don't really want to take a bite of ranch seasoning and cream cheese.
Yeah.
But real simple, it's easy. You can eat it with crackers. Like I said, if you got a little party going, bang, this takes you 2 minutes,
Yeah.
You got this joker whipped up.
How far ahead can you make this?
Just a few. I wouldn't leave it in the fridge for more than probably 3 or 4 days.
Okay.
But, that's plenty, if you're preparing for a party and looking for something quick and simple.
Well, it probably won't last that long.
No way. No way. And you can make more, you double if you want a lot. Just double the recipe or triple the recipe if you really love it. But we'll just get this slipped in here. And it looks awesome. I love the color of it. The parsley adds that green to it.
Yeah.
The good color of the cooked shrimp, that red pink color. So there's that one there. And that's that's awesome. Real
Looks
simple.
great.
Real simple. All right. Oops. All right. And now we got a Cheddar Old Bay crab dip. Pretty good. Real simple also. It takes, just a couple minutes. We just got a special crab meat. You can find that in the seafood section. Here we go. It's right here. Just another thing, you just buy right out of the seafood section. Most stuff you can find back there.
Right.
It's good to go. And we actually sell these dips back there already made. So if you just want to swing by, pick up a dip, good to go. Now with the special crab meat, whenever you do this, you want to check and get all the shells out of it, because sometimes there are some little pieces of shells left in it. We had that done. We picked through there. There wasn't too many, but you just want to be sure just in case. Right. We got 1 pound of mayo. 1 pound. It's not a measuring, but we're going 1 pound here. Just mayonnaise, regular mayonnaise. That's what the recipe calls for. I guess if you want to use Miracle Whip, you can go ahead.
I was going to ask about low fat. Would low fat make a significant difference?
I don't think it would make a big difference. No, maybe a little, but I don't think you would know if if you hadn't went with the original way first. You wouldn't really know. We got 8 ounces of cheese. You want the finely sharp cheddar. I like sharp cheddar. It gives it a little stronger taste of the cheese. Finely chopped. 8 ounces there. Just 1 bag, right out the dairy section. And then here comes my favorite part, because I love me some Old Bay seasoning. We got just 1 tablespoon of Old Bay here. I mean, if you really want to spice it up, go ahead, add you some more in there. I wouldn't put too much in there, because you'll tell. You'll be able to tell. You know? And then lemon juice. We got 1.5 tablespoons of lemon juice. Same thing here. I mean, if you want, go ahead, squish you some fresh lemons, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, however you really want to do it. Those are the things that they don't make a big difference. I mean, they make a little bit of a difference, but you ain't going to be able to tell in the recipe. And then the same with the parsley. 1 tablespoon of parsley. Add you a little bit of color in there, and we're good to go. Get some more cloves here. We'll mix it up. You can't beat this. I love it. Sitting around and watching a football game.
I like things that are easy.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Probably ought to got a bigger bowl, huh?
Sorry.
But this is real simple, real easy. I mean, all of a sudden your buddies call you up like, hey, we're coming to watch a football game at your house. And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
all right. But once again, we're going to mix it up real good. That parsley gets all over the place, gives us a good color.
Sure.
That Old Bay seasoning, the same type deal. And this stuff's good. You serve it with crackers. You can serve it with pretzels. I mean, you can go on and on. However you want to serve it, eat it. I mean, if you
That would
really
even be good with vegetables.
vegetables, yeah, anything, right? I mean, if you're really hungry, just eat it with a spoon, I guess. Here we go. We'll scoop this down in here. Awesome color.
That is very
cheese.
pretty. Nice.
Boom! Look at that.
Nice.
Good deal. And that's our 2 dips right there. We got the Parmesan ranch shrimp dip and the Cheddar Old Bay crab dip.
Sounds great.
Very good.
And now to add to the dips, I'm going to make a variation on Spanakopita. Spanakopita is a spinach and feta cheese pie traditionally, but because when you make it in a pie, it's very difficult to eat. The phyllo dough oftentimes is very crumbly, and so we're going to make individual Spanakopita today. And we're going to start with a 10-ounce package of spinach. You want to thaw this completely and then squeeze it very tightly. And don't be surprised if you get between 1/2 and 3/4 cup of water out of a small package, but you want it very dry. To that, we're going to add about 2 tablespoons, maybe 3 tablespoons of fresh chopped parsley, about 1.5 tablespoons of fresh dill,
Okay.
about 1/4 cup of minced green onions, scallions. I just split them and then slice through them so you can still see the rings in most cases. We're going to add a 4-ounce package of crumbled feta cheese. And 1 egg. Now, if you want, you can add some seasonings here, salt and pepper, or if you want to add something a little spicier, you can. I oftentimes find that the feta is salty enough that you don't have to add the extra salt. And we'll just mix that together. And phyllo dough, I think sometimes people are afraid of phyllo because it's so fragile, but this is an application that I think is very easy to do. When we're done, these are going to look like turnovers. You lay your phyllo dough out. Now, typically, if I was doing a lot of work with phyllo, I would have a damp towel, just cover this and take 1 sheet at a time. But because I'm going to be making this pretty quickly, I'm just going to take it right from the pile, and as I make my turnovers, I'll be putting it on the baking sheet. I like to use a baking sheet with parchment paper or a silicone sheet, but don't grease the pan. You want to use the paper or the silicone sheet. we'll take some melted butter. About a 1/4 pound of butter is enough to do this amount, and we're just going to lightly butter each sheet. And this truly is paper thin, and if it tears, it's not a big deal. We're going to put about a tablespoon down at one end, and then we'll fold this in thirds. We'll bring the phyllo together and the first sheet or two sometimes is dry, but as you get down in the pile, it's much better. And then just lightly butter this. And then you fold this like the American flag when you're putting the American flag away. So we make a triangle and just keep going back and forth, making triangles. Place it on the pan. Now I'll do another one and then I'll show you the finished product. These can be made up ahead. Now if you're making them up ahead, you want to cover them very well with plastic because you don't want them to dry out too much. You can even put a wet paper towel underneath the plastic wrap to keep them from drying out. You're going to bake them in a 375-degree oven for between 12 and 18 minutes, depending on your oven. The oven here at the store was a little hot. It only took about 9.5 minutes. But you just keep folding this in the triangle shape, like the American flag. Oh, forgot to butter it.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
I got talking, forgot to butter it.
That just helps with flavor and making it nice and flaky.
Yes. We'll pop these in the oven, and when they come out, so that gives us a third appetizer for today.
Look at that.
These are great as they are.
Yep.
They're nice with a mustard sauce. I like to make a mustard sauce with a touch of brown sugar and a touch of Tabasco. And that is a great dipping sauce for these.
Oh, yeah.
But this batch will make enough. The package has 40 sheets. And this will make enough for about 35 to 40, depending on how generous you are. And because they are so simple to eat, unlike cutting a piece of pie and eating it with a fork, so along with your dips, this is a great item for when you're having that hors d'oeuvre party. So now, this is a savory dish, and Kathy's going to talk about phyllo and using it in a sweet dish. Phyllo is very versatile, and I would encourage you to practice with it, play with it, and don't be afraid of it, because it is a very nice product that you can use for a variety of applications.
Sure. All right, but what I'm doing today with my phyllo dough is making apple strudel. I know a lot of people, you know, this time of year, the apples are so plentiful and people, you know, love apple strudel. And it's not a difficult thing to do, and that's what I want to show you today. The apples that work very well in this are, these are Max, Cortland's, these are Johnny Gold, Yellow Delicious, Gala, and this is a Braeburn. If I were using Braeburn, I would mix it with either the Cortland or the Macintosh, because you really want the apples, soft apple, that when they cook, they're going to cook down, because this is not going to cook that long in the oven. Milo today, the strudels took about 23 minutes. So again, and that would be again depending on your oven. So what we're going to do is, if we're going to prepare these, we want to peel the whole apple, and then we want to slice them very thin. And you can do that with the side of your grater. This works very well to do that, or certainly a mandolin. Or I didn't bring it out, but you can always use your Cuisinart on the slice But then usually what I'll do is I'll get these, quarter them, peel them, and take the seeds out. Then I just drop the quarters right in the
machine.
And it comes up with everything. So once we get them all sliced up, and you can see they're very soft and they're very thin. At this point, we'll add sugar and cinnamon to taste, sort of like what you do for a pie dough, and also some all-purpose flour, because you need the flour to absorb some of the juice that the apples are going to have. You don't need a tremendous amount, but you do need some. Once this is made up and ready to go, I just covered it with a wet paper towel. And again, you can use a dry dish towel or a wet paper towel. It doesn't make any difference. All right, since those are all done, try to stay in the steps. You know, I think the preparation for the apple strudel is the most part. Putting it together and making it is not a problem. So once we have that done, what we're going to do is, you know, the phyllo dough, it comes frozen. You can get it in any market. When you take it home, you want to put it in the refrigerator. So that way it's going to naturally defrost, and I usually do that the night before. So then when you take it out, you know, as Mark said, they come packaged, and there's 20 sheets in each package. So with this, I use 4 sheets for the apple strudel, so we can make 5 lengths of apple strudel with one package. All right, so now what we want to, before we touch this, what we want to do is make some butter breadcrumbs. Now it's a very simple, you know, procedure. Just take, and these I already have done because I figured we needed to move along a little bit. But take 1 stick of butter and about 2 cups of breadcrumbs, just plain breadcrumbs, and you really want them fairly fine. So you cook this, and you can see that they're a nice medium color. When I do this, I have to remember that when you bring this off the stove, your pan's still hot. So you still need to go ahead and scrape up the edges, and you'll see that there's some browning that was going on. So once this is cold, what you want to do is add about a quarter, a third of a cup of sugar to it. And then just stir that in. So now you have this nice concoction of butter breadcrumbs with sugar. This is what's going to help with the phyllo leaves, because since we're doing 4 for the strudel, when we put some butter on and then put this helps to keep the phyllo leaves a little separated, and that helps with having them nice and crunchy. So this is all ready. And then one of the things that we want to do that we'll need is we'll go ahead and melt up some butter. I just threw this in the microwave. We're going to use butter just like Mark did in his, and you know, we'll go over that with doing it on each sheet and also doing it on the top. All right. Now, one of the other things, oh, here they are raisins. You know, you can make apple strudel with raisins or without. I usually put a few, and when I'm talking a few, once the apples are down, I put about 6, 8, or 10, you know, whatever, you know, fits in my hand when I'm doing it. It just gives that little extra sweetness.
I see you're using golden raisins. Does it matter?
Probably not, but these will enhance the color. You know, the dark raisins, you're going to see them sticking out. And this sort of
blends in better.
Blends in much better with the apples and the cinnamon. And they're my preference anyhow. Now the raisins, when you get them out of the box, depending if you get a brand new box and it's really nice and fresh, you know, that's fine. If it's not, or you've had some for a while, what you can do is plump your raisins. To plump them, you just put this cup of raisins here, and then you add enough water, hot water to cover, and let it sit, and then just squeeze it out, and your raisins will stay nice and soft and plump to go on the strudel. All right, I think we've done everything getting ready, and we'll start doing our first strudel. Now I made 11 this morning, and was so impressed at the phyllo dough. I didn't have one wrinkle, I didn't have one, so I figured, well, now I'm sure it's going to all mess up.
Well, let's hope your luck doesn't change.
Yeah. All right, so we'll get this one open. And while I'm getting everything set up, I usually like to cover it with the plastic that we have here. It doesn't cover the whole thing. With the second one it usually does. But I'm just going to put this little bit of damp cloth on there. Then what I need is a dry towel next to it. And this is where the preparation will go. So when I'm ready, let me go ahead and take my sheet off. And just like, you know, Mark said, once you have the sheets, I mean, they're pretty sturdy. I think they're sturdier than you might think they are. But because I'm doing this rather quickly, I don't cover up mine in between. I do cover them up when, once I start to roll and get everything done with it. But for the first 4 sheets, see, now you made me forget. A little bit of that butter breadcrumb on that first sheet after you put the butter on. Then you add your second sheet.
That also gives it the volume.
Yes, yes. All right, so now we're up to the third one.
When you're working with phyllo, I find it's so much like paper, you're tempted to lick your fingers, and you have to remember not to do that because it is so thin.
Yeah, yeah.
So keeping that damp towel close by is very handy.
Yep. Don't forget the breadcrumbs. All right, so this is the 4th one. So now we're going to cover this while we're working with the rest. So the 4th one, the same thing goes, just sprinkle some butter on, sprinkle the butter breadcrumbs on, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take some of our apples. Now, you know, you can use a spoon or whatever, but I'm all in the middle of this, and if we're going to take it all the way through, it's just quicker to use my hands. Plus, I also want to make sure that if there's a great big huge piece of apple that's sort of firm, I want to at least break it up. So that's about the amount of apples that you want on here. Now with this, you take a little bit of that sugar buttered breadcrumbs and you put it on top of this also. And then our raisins. And you can see, I mean, I certainly don't overdo. So everything is here and ready. Then what I want to do is roll it up. The first roll, I use my dry paper. Once it's there, you can roll it up. And this is what each strudel looks like. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on a sheet pan, but before we bake, we want to brush it with a little more butter. And I usually do this when it's on a sheet pan. And then we're going to put them on, I can usually get 4 on my big sheet pan. And then we're going to bake it for 25 to 30 minutes at 350 degrees. And you'll see they get nice and golden. And like I said, mine that I did, they actually came out a little less time than that, but our oven's a little hotter. And then, you know, you can slice it up, put them on a plate, or you can just sprinkle some powdered sugar on it, and then slice it when it's time to eat and enjoy it.
Is it time?
It's time. Almost.
Why don't you put your dips up here, Sam? And
Yeah.
All right, all right, all right.
so we're ready for a football game or a party, appetizers and desserts.
Whatever. Yeah.
I was curious. I'm not a baker, and when you didn't tuck the ends in, the apples don't flow out, but it still has a very nice
Yeah,
look
and that
to
makes
it.
it easier for someone at home that hasn't worked with phyllo dough a lot. That's easier to roll and then having to go in and crimp and
Right. Absolutely.
And
And you know, people usually fight over the end pieces
Yeah,
of
yeah.
the
But the hint that Kathy used with the towel to roll it, when your phyllo is fragile,
Yeah.
that towel or a piece of parchment paper
Right.
does really simplify the process.
Yep, yep. All right, well, thank you very much. We hope that you enjoyed our show today. And
Looks like we need some crackers.
yeah, I think we do. All right, and thank you very much, and we will see you at the market.